to start the acquisition of Jrue Holiday. Your thoughts on that, and just how much were that a surprise that he was going to become available as a potential trade target last week, and how did that honestly change your guys' plans on the fly?
I mean, there's a there's a list of guys in the league that you always think you'll never have a real chance to get, that you think are like perfect fits, and that you'd love to be a Celtic, and Jrue was, one of those guys, and the reasons are, I mean, everybody can see what he does on the court, and he's a really good player, multiple-time All-Star. The defense has been well documented, et cetera. But I think it's he's an elite teammate, elite competitive character, all of those things. Like you said, it's not one that you predict will necessarily have a chance to get. You knew the price was going to be, really high, and but he's a guy that we think is a great fit for us, and does so many good things on and off the court for us.
Brad, you talked earlier in the offseason about needing to rebalance when you got Kristaps. Now, is the balance okay with you now? Do you need to continue? Do you need to do more to get the balance that you're looking for, backcourt and front court?
Yeah, I mean, we'll continue to look at it. We'll see how it all looks. I think we've had the real benefit of watching a packed gym for the last few weeks, in small groups, and some open gyms that guys have played. And we've been really encouraged and impressed by some of the people that people don't talk about on our team, and a lot. And so we'll see how that all plays itself out. But yeah, we talked about trying to balance that. I think Jrue becoming available obviously wasn't something that was predicted. And we thought about it not only in terms of however Joe decides to start the game, but certainly how the end of the game would look, and who we can put out there. And you just couldn't pass on an opportunity to get a guy like Jrue. But yeah, we will continue to look at the best balance for our team. I do think that we'll still play some double bigs. The nice part is that Kristaps can play with any of our bigs. Al can play with any of our bigs, and go from there. But we'll watch for a couple weeks and continue to gauge it.
And with the new CBA, now you guys are a second apron team, but we know that all of the rules haven't kicked in yet.
Right.
So was the fact that those rules haven't kicked in yet, does that make you kind of more go for it now this season, versus maybe taking a longer term approach? Is this kind of like, because of the rules, does it make you push more all in right now?
Well, I think first of all, this speaks to our ownership's willingness to spend regardless, right? And our eagerness to be the best possible team we can be. All of those discussions, without getting too far into weighing the here versus now, John, all of those discussions have been like endless since the new CBA came out, right? And so, those are things that we've hashed back and forth over and over and over, and have been prepared for any scenario. Certainly we all have to be mindful of and make good decisions as we move forward.
Brad, how difficult was it to move on from Rob in this trade?
Yeah, really hard. I've said this to our staff today. Like, those phone calls are, I'll probably be like somewhere else in 10 years hiding, right? Those are like the hardest phone calls. Rob, it was such a pleasure to watch Rob grow. When he first got here, he had a long way to go. But he had a great attitude. He was a great teammate, and got a lot better, over time. I know Portland's super excited to get him, and that was hard. It was really hard. You know, guys like Jrue Holiday are the only reason you ever entertain, you know, moving on from a guy like Rob. That's really tough.
I know Malcolm, a lot of conversations after, nearly being traded there earlier in the summer, kind of bringing him back in, moving on from him, and just those conversations over the summer. How did that process go, and end up him included in the trade?
Malcolm had to be included in the trade because of the money aspect of how these trades work, right? But I've talked about it before. Malcolm had every right to be frustrated with us in the middle of the summer. That said, I was not concerned with regard to if media day started today and Jrue Holiday didn't become available, that he was going to be a professional, because that's what he is. You know, he's a good guy. He's a good teammate, and he understands the business aspect of this. And so, I think he'll do really well as well. He feels good. He's ready to roll, and we're thankful for the year he had with us.
Like a week ago, you were probably pretty certain that you were going to go to camp with one team. What was your reaction when Holiday got traded to Portland and you kind of realized, okay, this guy might be available? And then how urgent were you to go get him at that point? And how did things progress from that initial excitement by you that maybe he's free to then the trade?
As time went on, I think we all became a little bit more wondering if Portland was going to end up getting somebody that they would then move on from as a result of getting moving Dame. And so we had we were monitoring it like the rest of the league. To be candid, we knew kind of the numbers that had to match. So you had a list of guys that might be in those type of deals that you might be interested. So you have to stay flexible and ready and all that. I think that when it became Jrue, it was like, it's never ideal timing right before training camp. But at the same time, this is a guy that you want on your team whenever you can get him.
Final couple questions, Jared.
Brad, with Jrue, you paid a substantial price, like multiple picks, important players. Most of the trades you've made so far, it was generally like one pick or like one player. So what made you want to go this deep into like this big of a trade? And is this something you've been kind of preparing for, or was it going that deep into a trade was something that kind of caught you guys by surprise?
Got to pay a good price for things, right? Like, that's the way it goes. We're trying to win a championship, trying to be as good as we can be. We certainly did, and 2 picks and 2 good players, and that is a real price. And but that's how good we think Jrue is, and we're still in pretty good shape from the standpoint of what we can do moving forward with picks. I mean, we've got a ton of seconds now, and I think we can still move a couple of firsts, and we have control of all of our firsts with the exception of the swap in 28 and the 29. So, we're here to try to be as good as we can be.
Rob, then Steve.
Brad, you were talking about a little bit earlier, but the roster situation now in the front court, obviously losing a big piece in Rob. How are you satisfied with what you guys have there now? Are you looking continually to add there, either now or during the season? What's your kind of viewpoint on that with like what you guys have for assets?
Well, I think you can all look at our team and identify like we're really strong right at the top, and so as you look at how you figure out who's going to accentuate those guys, we're just looking for guys that are reliable, skilled, and competitive. And so at any position, that's what we need to fill, those other spots in the rest of those minutes. And like I said, whether it was from, our smaller guys to our bigger guys that we've watched now for, several weeks in group workouts and those type of things, I believe in the guys that have been in the gym. And, I think that, we will continue to try to monitor and see what we need to add. But, we're looking forward to really now stepping back and evaluating it. Okay, let's see how it all fits together. Let's see what we need. We are obviously mindful of, you know, if you have an injury or two, where our biggest needs might be. But, you know, I'm encouraged by what we have and how they've worked and everything else. And, you know, and been really encouraged by Kristaps' first couple weeks here. You know, he's played and worked out every day for 2 weeks. And so we're looking forward to getting started.
Final question, Steve.
How soon do you expect Jrue to be here, and what do you see about his fit alongside Derek and the Jays, and how excited are you about the possibilities of those lineups?
Jrue beat me to the gym this morning. He's not allowed to do anything until all the physicals on both sides pass, right? And so I don't know when that will officially be. It depends on when they finish theirs and when we finish ours. He'll go through all the physical stuff today, but you know, he'll watch practice until he's allowed to practice. But he's eager, and you know, just getting a chance to spend a few minutes on the phone with him last night and then a few minutes with him today. It's just he's a really impressive person, you know, and so we're glad he's here.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.